got home from dropping my son off at daycare, and I got the call from the emergency room at VGH, and she said, "Richard's been in an accident, you better come down."
This is one of the first photos my wife had taken after the accident. I have a picture of me and make sure everything was okay to send to the families before any of the surgeries. Some friends had given my son a doctor kit so he could come in once I was better.
I was 5 months pregnant. We were both working and raising our 4-year-old.
I was on my bike ride to work in January and a bus collided with me, and then I was hit by a dump truck and I had severe lower leg trauma, and I was transported to VGH within 15 minutes after the accident.
We are a level 1 trauma center. We deal with virtually all of the major trauma in our area and what is airlifted down to us from the rest of the province.
He was surrounded by teams of specialists and residents. Although he was really badly injured, I knew that he was in good hands. It was just a matter of trusting that these people have the training and knowledge, and as well as access to the equipment to save his life.
Mr. Gaffney had multiple fractures of his left leg and his right leg, as well as a head injury. He was actively bleeding from the left leg and had an expanding hematoma, and he had no blood supply to the left foot. And in that situation, it's a surgical emergency.
It wasn't clear whether or not they were going to be able to save his leg, and it was really down to, could they get the blood flowing?
Once we've stopped the bleeding, we then have maybe 2 or 3 hours of a window of time to restore the circulation to the leg, or we start to have decreasing function. And in the end, when we get out to 6 to 8 hours, then the leg is lost.
He had to go in and take a graft from my right leg and repair the damaged artery and vein in my left leg.
At one point, I was questioning whether the graft would work with the artery injured the way it was. So we had to do an on-the-table angiogram. That's an X-ray of the circulation. And we do it with portable X-ray equipment, but it is not as sophisticated as equipment that's mounted in the ceiling and particularly designed for this type of thing. In most trauma centers, there will be what's called a hybrid room, where you'll have a combination of X-ray equipment as well as surgical equipment.
Patients who are very sick due to, for example, polytrauma, they would be able to be treated in one spot rather than moved in several places, especially when they're unstable. Time is of the essence. We currently don't have a hybrid system in the OR, so there's a big decision down in the emergency room for the trauma team to try and decide whether they're stable enough to come to the angiography suite, which is in the radiology department, to get at least treated first before they go up to the OR, or if the patient's too unstable, they go directly to the operating room. And you can eliminate that variable completely if they go straight to the operating room directly. We're all there at the same time.
Just the way all of the teams could work together and mesh, the plastics, the orthopedic, the vascular, to be able to repair what they could and make sure that I would be able to recover the best way possible.
There was a point where we didn't know if Richard would ever walk again using his own legs. It took teams of people to get him to that place.
It was a really exciting day to get to go home. It had been 18 weeks at that point.
It was down to the wire. He got out of the hospital 3 weeks before I gave birth. I'm happy to say that now things are getting back to normal. He's able to participate in our family life again.
It was about 4 weeks after I'd been discharged. I was just so glad to be able to be home and get to see her and spend time with her. After 3 or 4 weeks, I got to give her a bottle, and it was a nice bonding moment for her and I.
The more support we get, the more likely we are to be able to build this hybrid room, which we desperately need as soon as possible.
You combine the best of both worlds, all for the betterment of patient care. Every decision that you make and every second that you can save will potentially save their life.
Every day I can feel it getting a little bit better and a little bit stronger. I wanted to be there and to be able to be active with Sebastian again and help out with the family. Those were my biggest motivators.
It was really amazing the work that they had been able to do.
Yeah.
Every dollar you donate is going towards saving someone's life and keeping families together.